People ask me in comment sections, in my lives, through private messages, on other social media platforms, for advice. And it could be a number of different things. Sometimes people say, hey, I'm coming to Chicago. Can you give me advice on what I should do or see? And some people say, hey, I'm moving to the Chicagoland area. Can you give me advice on maybe where the best place to live is or the most affordable place? All the way up things like, should I take this college major? Or advice about relationships. I keep telling people to stop taking advice from strangers online, starting with me. That's the number one piece of advice I give everybody. You don't know who you're talking to when you're talking to somebody online. Yeah, I do a lot of videos, and I talk a lot about my life, and I'm very open about my relationships and my world. But that doesn't mean you know me or what happens in my world. You don't want to take advice from me. Okay? You don't. I have failed at many things in my life. I've been a success at many things in my life. But I'm not the kind of person you want to seek advice from. You enjoy my content? You like watching my videos? Great, awesome. You find some of them funny, you find some of them informative, you agree with some of them, you disagree with others. Whatever it may be, you don't want to take advice from me. I've obviously failed at school. I failed on having a decent relationship with some of the people in the earlier part of my life. My first attempt at a landscape company, which occurred a decade and a half before the successful attempt. It was a failure. And now I have failed in my relationship with one of my kids. I could sit here and rail on and on and on and on and on for way longer than a 10-minute video clip about everything that's happened over the course of the last decade and everything that's led up to the fact that we can't be in each other's lives anymore right now. But it's another failure. Whether she's at fault, whether I'm at fault, whether we're both at fault, it's still another failure. I want you guys to understand that no matter how together somebody may seem, no matter how agreeable you are to somebody's positions in the world, it still doesn't mean that they're the best person in the world to be taking advice from. Doesn't mean that any advice you get from that person is necessarily going to work out for you the way you want it to be. The only thing that you can do is trust your own head and your own gut. And I've made a lot of excuses for a long time as to why I kept touching the hot stove. And I don't want the end result that we currently have. But there's no way around it at this point in time. So, don't ask me for advice. Don't send me messages asking me what the best path for any part of your life is. I don't even have my own paths figured out. I don't even know what to say. I want to tell you guys everything and nothing all at the same time. I want to unload and yell and scream. And I want to curl up and sit in a dark room for days on end. Here's what I know. You have to find the things in your world that are important to you and do everything you can to keep them in your world. But it's not always going to work out that way. It's not always going to work out the way you want it to. Life rarely works out the way you want it to. So at that point in time, all you can do is focus on the people that want to be part of your life. And make that as strong as you possibly can. Yeah, my content is all over the place. It's political. It deals with music. It deals with Gen X culture. It deals with cannabis and food and Chicagoland history. And I toss in a handful of TikToks to make people laugh as well. And sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes it's real life that isn't pleasant and isn't pretty. Anyway, stop asking me for advice. You don't want it.